Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Voice Notes by JustDabney, where I talk about a bunch of random topics, some of which you might be interested in, so please like, subscribe, share, follow, depending on whatever platform you're listening to this on. We're on Spotify, Google, Apple, and hosted on Anchor.fm, which you can follow the podcast on there. I love the Anchor.fm platform, so please follow and check out the other podcasts. So it's been a while since I posted another podcast, and that is because unfortunately earlier this year, my mom passed away. And so it's just been, trying to heal from that, although you can never truly heal, but you can be able to cope with it better. And so that's kind of what I've been working on for most of the year, but also the logistics behind it. As an only child, I had to make most of the decisions. So it was just a lot of stress, a lot of work, a lot of just emotional things happening. And then, but luckily, I am truly grateful for a supportive community around me that made things a lot easier for me to deal with, whether it's advice or just, helping with the back end of things that was going on. I am just truly grateful. And that's what I have come to realize because, I want to build a really good community of people around me. And this was just one of those times where it was like, I already have that community of people. Like, I already have a good, solid community of people. So community meaning family, friends, and then people I work with who are supportive, dependable, and the relationships are reciprocal. Like, if anybody needs support, they can come to me and vice versa. And that's really what I look for in my relationships is, is it reciprocal? Are you dependable? Like, can I talk to you about anything if I feel like it? Like, those type of relationships. And so I'm truly grateful to have people in my life like that. And so it just made this year a lot easier for me. So I didn't have to really go through it totally alone. But but that's not the reason why I'm talking about the topic of abandonment. The reason why is because it seems to be a reoccurring theme in my relationships, romantic relationships I'm mainly talking about. But I do want to note that you can experience abandonment issues in adulthood with, close friends, family, just anyone who you had some expectation at which they would be in your life, or they gave you some indication that they were going to do something, which is, be a equal partner in a relationship. You can experience abandonment issues that way as well. So, but why I'm talking about it in sort of adult romantic relationships is because it's a reoccurring theme. Like, whether it's me feeling abandoned during the relationship, usually caused by like distancing. It's just the distancing. And then because of that, you have to end the relationship. So then it's like, okay, feeling abandoned because it's like you didn't have to end the relationship if the other person was just not being hard-headed or not being stubborn or whatever the reason is, whatever issues they have going on in their personal lives, whatever the reason is that caused them to switch up, it kind of creates that feeling of abandonment because it's like you had to end a relationship that you didn't want to end, really, but you had to because you can't continue a relationship that is so distant emotionally. And but also it's a recurring theme because I would say it's mainly a theme in my life because I always have to deal with a partner that does not feel like I should be with them. Like, it's a fear of abandonment. It's like once you get into the relationship, then the person is like scared to lose you. So either they will overcompensate by being super clingy or taking up so much of my time, or it will be the opposite where the constant fear of abandonment will lead to the distancing because it's kind of assuming that I'm going to leave anyway. So why invest so much in a relationship? And so that's a recurring theme. It ultimately snowballs into the ending of the relationship. And so I do want to note also that, these issues can be complicated or caused by our different attachment styles. And you can Google these for more information, but attachment styles like being avoidant or anxious can definitely make these abandonment issues a little bit more worse than they already are. But yeah, and so also I see a lot of people online dealing with this, whether they admit it or not. You can sort of tell by what topics they focus the most on. The fear of abandonment, it seems to be a prevalent issue. And because I noticed this recently, I was like, let me meditate on it. And for those of you who don't know, one of my more popular podcasts is Meditating with a Purpose. And so I use meditation to receive download information from the universe and from my higher self in order to sort of not just heal, but, to receive all types of information. One of the downloads I got was about the definition of what abandonment issues is. And the thing is, before meditating, I did not look up what abandonment issues actually are. I just had this inherent idea of what it was. But there's actually this is an actual field of study that people, care about on the regular. I found this definition on WebMD that perfectly describes the same definition I received during meditation. And that's that abandonment issues happen when a parent or caregiver does not provide the child with consistent, warm, or attentive interactions, leaving them feeling chronic stress and fear. And so that was the definition I received in meditation. But I also want to note that it can happen in many ways. It doesn't have to just be the child-parent relationship. It can be maybe someone in the child's life leaves. It could be other family members. It can be a very close friend, or it can be somebody they liked. It can happen in your teen years where maybe you were dating somebody or you were interested in somebody and then they rejected you. And maybe that caused a very traumatic experience in your life. And when you want to think about what causes trauma or what causes these abandonment issues, don't focus on, was the issue bad enough? Don't compare your bad to another person's bad. However you felt is how you felt, and that was valid. And that is valid enough to say that you have this childhood trauma of abandonment. So the association in adulthood when these issues crop up, you think about people who are constant, people pleasers, they're not honest about their feelings because they don't want to scare the other person off. It could be the shame of causing it. So thinking that you caused the abandonment in your childhood can lead to thinking that you were the cause of abandonment in your adult relationships where this issue cropped up. Also trying to keep the other person around, like I said, with people pleasing. It's just, you're always doing something extra for that person. You're the overgiver in the relationship. It's not a reciprocal relationship. And then, or not being honest out of fear of them leaving, like I said before. So because you're a people pleaser, because, you're trying to keep the person around, you're not being honest with them about what's really going on. And so then the other person has just no clue. They probably think, you're this crazy person when really you're not. You just have this fear of abandonment. And maybe if the other person knew, they would know how to better handle it. They would give you more grace. They would try to work with you on it. But if you're not honest with them because you're scared of them leaving, it can cause all sorts of tension. So I do want to talk about the first download in meditation that I got. And this is going to sound pretty harsh, but let me explain. Hey, thank you so much for making it this far in the podcast. But if you want to listen to the rest, please check the link in the description where you can find all the other places where the podcast is hosted, or you can just simply listen for free on anchor.fm. Bye.